In this video, we're going to explore the concept of the normal curve. Let's start with a graph. Notice that the x line is from negative 40 to positive 40 with a 0 balancing it in the middle, and our y is from 10 to 40, but these numbers are just examples, right? Depending on what you're measuring, they could go from, negative 2,000 to positive 2,000, and the y could go up to 50,000. The whole point is, the reason it's called the normal curve is that the same shape is represented in very many distributions without worrying about the actual units involved and the actual amounts. It's the shape of the curve that I'm about to draw that is the critical bit of information to remember. So this is the shape of the normal curve. It's often also called the bell curve, and the interesting thing about it is that this shape applies to so many things like the distribution of IQ results, right? Most people are going to be in this middle group, right? And there's going to be very few people in the lower group and up in the higher group, right? And you can see that sort of graphically if we follow these lines up here, right? Do this by hand approximately. So you can see here in the center the two sections to the left and right of the peak, right? They have the bulk of the results, right? So if we were looking at a standard deviation here, this would be, say, 34.1%, okay, in each of these. Right, and then these sections are smaller, right, and that's about 13.6. Of course, natural data won't always be grouped this exactly, but these are overall averages from many results, right? 2.1%. Okay, and at the very end, where it trails out and just basically rides above the X line, it's like 0.1%. Okay, so if this was an IQ chart, right, most people are within, say, if we were, the numbers would be different for an IQ chart, but say you'd have an IQ in the middle would be 100, right? That's average, and up from that you might be going 110, 120, 130, 140, okay, and then backwards you'd be going 80, 60, 40, 20, right? And there's going to be very few people relative to what's normal around 100. There's going to be very few people up in the 140, and past 150, 160 as the line gets smaller and closer and closer to the line. It's just going to keep going, in either direction. All right. So there might be to the point where there might be one person in the entire world who has an IQ of, say, 220 or 240. I'm not sure what the highest IQ in the world is, but there's going to be that one individual way out on the far end, right? And there's going to be the bulk, between these two sections here. That's 68.2% of people are going to be within that average, right? And then even if we add the other two, that's bringing us pretty close to 100% already. Forget about everyone else. That just the long tail of it, right? So this is what a normal curve is. It applies to species distribution throughout habitats, all kinds of things that it's going to apply to. They call it the bell curve because of the bell-like shape, and depending on where your data falls along here, you've either got something exceptional at either end or something very normal right here in the middle. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.